What is a red flag to watch out for in a guy who wants a relationship with you? If he tries to pull you further away from friends and family. Jokes on him, I don't have any. I'm what they call easy pickings for predators, abusers. Then they realize I'm more fucked up than they are, not get scared. Cut me down, but it's you who'll have further to fall? When you're the only one towards whom he shows a shred of Dick Kinsey. The actor who played Spike on Buffy the Vampire Slayer once spoke about how disturbed he was by the multitude of young adults and girls infatuated with his character. He said something like, I get it, I get the appeal of the bad boy, but what you have to understand is that if he's an asshole to everyone except you, it doesn't mean you're special, it just means your turn is coming. For some reason that always stuck with me. He tries to stop you from spending time with your friends, or when you're with your friends, he's constantly messaging you to find out where you are and who you're with. Literally my emotionally abusive ex-husband. As a guy, I would say don't look for red flags, look for an absence of green flags. Kinda, if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. If you're looking for the downside in an imperfect person, you'll find something every time. If you look for the good and can't find anything, that's the biggest, brightest red flag there could be. I love this. I feel like if you scroll through these comments, you will eventually find a red flag that applies to your partner. Disclaimer that yes, obviously one should be wary of someone who is abusive, has addiction issues etc. If he co-sleeps with his dog that pisses in the bed all the time, that would be a red flag for me. Oddly enough, this is the second comment I've seen within the past hour about sleeping in the same bed as your dog who pissed in, it been a red flag. Reddit trying to tell me something and I don't know if I should be concerned. He wants you to be part of what seems like a pyramid scheme. He says it's not, but you're pretty sure it is. Even after he explained it to you as a sure thinks it to become rich quickly. I've explained this 100 times, Katie. It's not a pyramid scheme. I want to open a pyramid construction company. Totally different things. The best advice I can give you is if you wanna know who the man is, look at his friends. Jokes on you, I don't even have friends. If they have a disdain for safe sex, don't be silly, rub your willy. Is it a red flag when women do too? I dated this girl and she'd never listen to me when I told her my dick wasn't going anywhere near her without a condom. For kids, no disease purposes. I'd have to throw her off of me when she was on top because she tried to sneak it while making out. I met up with a girl for sex and it was my first time meeting her in person. One of her first comments was, you don't need to use condom. I actually nodded out of there. That isn't a red flag. It's a giant red banner. The feeling of something not quite right was there. Note, I was luckily in my 30s. If this had happened at 20, I'm not sure I was so smart. Too intense too soon. Love bombing is straight up manipulative. I tend to fall fast and hard for people. At what point does it appear like love bombing? Some say having a lot of female friends. I'd argue the opposite. If he has no platonic connective to any woman, I'd be worried. If he gets upset when you say no to things, if he doesn't ever admit to being wrong, if he throws or hits things when he is angry, depends on his and their behavior around each other. Pay attention to how they talk about and handle their past friends and exes. That could be you one day. Yep. Especially if they have kids with that person. It's hard to hide your feelings about your ex when you still have to share parenting duties with them. So pay attention to how they talk about that person and how concerned they are about their guidance in dealing with that person. How he treats his mother and other women of his family. Also, does he take responsibility of his mistakes or does he blame others? Does he want you to feel sad for him or does he always see the bright side? Is he open to listen and make you feel comfortable or is he trying to force you to do things? How does he react if you talk about other guys? How does he react if you tell him you want to take things slow? I have a genuine question about this. How should a guy react to this? Because this was an issue in my recent relationship. She would keep bringing up other guys into conversation. It could be her ex, a colleague, friend who is flirting with her, or someone online. And if I don't show the reaction she wants, she'll complain that I don't get jealous. And if I call her out, she'll say, I'm just looking at superficial things, nothing is going on. As a guy, my stance on this is that have friends, doesn't matter what gender, but if a guy is asking you out for dates and stuff, then I have an issue. This is a good one. Oftentimes, when people like you, they'll treat you better than normal. If a woman is nice to me but she's getting an attitude with a waiter or retail worker, I assume this is how she'll be treating me in a few years when she knew wears off, when they were already an adult when you were born. Age differences shrink as you get older. If you're looking for a red flag, you will find one. No one is perfect, and so if you're looking for something wrong with a person, you will eventually find it. If you are interested in a relationship going into it, Looking for things that are wrong with the person from the jump seems like a really unhealthy way to start it. Try getting to know the person. If they seem like a person you want to be with and they feel the same way about you, go for it. If not, move on and find someone else who are more compatible with. The point of red flags is not to immediately write off a person as toxic. Pretty much everyone is going to show some red flags or another occasionally because people aren't perfect, and some red flags can be red herrings that are unrelated to the toxic behaviors they're meant to indicate. When it happens, you should just make a note of it and move on. Until someone starts showing a lot of red flags that when you seriously need to revalue the relationship because things may quickly turn south. There is one red flag that is, in my experience, and the heart of all red flags: lack of comfort with discomfort. The ability to sit with discomfort in all its forms and allow it into your space fully, whether it's grief or fear or insecurity or sadness or anxiety or boredom or irritation or even simple things like hunger. It's the single most important green flag in a partner. Its absence is a sign of so many things that can and will go wrong. Yes, but also be careful of people who pretend to have grown. A lot of predators these days know how to fake being a caring and growth-oriented person, so they will use therapy language to seem like they're something they're not. They just spend a lot of their time studying other people to fake these personas. For me, is if he's overly interested in my domestic skills, cooking, cleaning, etc. If he's asking about that, it's generally a sign to me that he's looking for a replacement mommy maid more than a girlfriend. Same goes for if he immediately says, "I'm not good at cooking." There's no weaponized ignorance allowed in my world. House chores are shared, period. I don't exist solely, so you never have to wash your own underwear again. Nope. If he eats cereal, try and ask you which cereal mascot is the most attractive. I could never date a cereal mascot. He'd be running off with my cereal. The rabbit, the leprechaun, the caveman, they're all cereal thieves. He doesn't have any hobbies, interests that take some of his time willingly away from you. This goes for women as well. Don't let someone lie to you about this either. If they don't have something they're into that will steal day away from you for many hours without needing you around, work doesn't count. Steer clear. This is only fair and valid if you'd actually say no to those things or assert a boundary normally. It's very common in dating and early in relationship for people to let things go that they might usually not prefer because the new relationship energy is so heady and delightful. But if you're watching yourself and make sure that you do maintain boundaries you would normally prefer, even if your partner might prefer a different course, this is a fair situation. If you never tell someone no, you'll never see how they deal with it. And sometimes they can be at really bad times. If you organically have reasons to say no to something, stick to your guns a couple of times, because it can be important for your sanity and in some cases safety later on. I agree with this idea in general though. I feel like you don't really know someone until you see how they deal with hearing no to something they legitimately want. In real life this is likely to happen to some point, so you don't have to manufacture a scenario to test it. Just make sure you're not compromising yourself too much from the start. If he keeps trying to touch you, especially when you made it clear not to touch you, any excuses or repetition, leave immediately. Or if he seems to try to intentionally escalate or worsen a fight, to use it as an excuse to blow up or go nuts at you without holding back, then using you breaking down as a way to look like the good guy by holding you and cooling you down. Or hell, doesn't have to be a fight. It can be a guy disrespecting your sexual boundaries and then once you freak out and cry, instantly acting all doting and caring and snuggly to try to confuse you on the fact that he is definitely a predator. Every single person has something negative, but not everyone is a narcissist or toxic. So when you start dating someone, listen to that feeling you got when you see the first or second negative. It's not going to be screaming, "Leave, leave" sometimes, but you do know at your core if it's something that will keep being an issue. Mine was. He wasn't able to have a disagreement at all. It could never be a discussion or opportunity to talk and even agree to disagree. It either was me giving in to stop the fight, or it was him leaving and ignoring me for hours to days. And then I would still just give in to stop the silent treatment. Silent treatment is something I will never stand for again. If you can go a day without talking to me a few more years because I'm good. If he projects third-party stress, disapproving parents, not having a job or not being a millionaire from passive income on me without being aware of it or without apologizing after. My ex used to say he's stressed at work after an outburst. It took me a while to realize he wasn't apologizing, he was justifying his behavior. No one should be fixing anyone. It being patient, understanding and loving are being given on the basis of fixing someone. That's a huge red flag. You sound like your whole life was based on making someone else better at the expense of your own. She fell out of love. You didn't fix her. Ultimately do the work themselves. Did you help? Yes. Did she help you? Surely with at least one thing? As someone with a shit ton of trauma and ADHD, I did the work. Did I have a loving, supportive partner for some of that time? Yes. Did I have many abusers, manipulators and awful men before that? Yes. I changed it so I could be treated the way I deserve to be treated. People grow apart. Sorry if this sounds really harsh. I honestly don't understand your why is any logic here. Take everything he says at face value. If he says he's not a good person, leave. If he says all of his exes were toxic, leave. If he says anything generalizing women as not wanting licking him, leave. If he makes comments about traditional relationship or women being submissive, leave. Most of the time they don't want a traditional relationship, they want a provider and housewife all in one. If he wants SAHW but won't pay her weekly wage, leave. If he says anything about men and women can be friends, leave. Red flags are fucking stupid. Get to know someone. Life isn't a video game. People have quirks. People have quirks, yes. Sometimes those quirks are that they leave a box of cereal on the counter. Sometimes those quirks are they like to beat women. It's not stupid to call certain quirks a red flag. Part of it's about being safe. Part of it's about being happy. You ain't gonna be truly happy if you just settle for whoever. Standards are important. Always say no the first time they try to initiate sex, just to see how they respond to rejection. There was one guy I matched with on Tinder a couple years ago who I genuinely would have hooked up with, but he flew into such an angry tirade when I told him that I wasn't going to drive to his house that night that I honestly felt unsafe over the phone email. Wondering about red flags in a partner to start second guess the human nature in the person you're interested in and possibly start overthinking another person's behavioral pattern to the point you don't trust them anymore and cause problem whether they were or not to begin with. Looking for red flags is like feeding your insecurities. Stop being a bunch of bitches. Don't look for shit to go wrong. Just understand your boundaries and set them. Don't be one of those idiots that give somebody their heart, soul, asshole and taxes and marries a guy in prison just because he can fuck 1,000 other women and has a lot of money or fame. Just be a cool girlfriend. Let him drive your car and house him if he has a good heart, conversation and job. Literally, the more picky you are, the worse man you will have. No, have patience. Watch out for anyone that ever says I have been patient or anything similar, cause they usually means they're actually not patient at all. Insisting you're going to like something, even after you told them multiple times you don't like the things won't ever like it. When you catch them telling people X, when X isn't true and you have no idea why they even say that. When they tell people random stuff about you, including stuff that's really personal and you wouldn't think they'd ever go around talking about it to people. This whole mentality of looking for red flags and immediately running is honestly a red flag on you as well. To me that shows that you are not willing or able to work through issues that arise in your life. If there are a red flag in your relationship, it will test whether you two can work through problems that come into our lives. Don't run away from every single red flag you see. Learn to work through issues in relationships and build a solid foundation for healthy communication instead of looking for the bad in people and not dealing with certain things because it's red flag. Thank you for watching, leave a comment and see you next video.